make this video, so I apologize for that. It's just been a lot of reflection. Anna's been so busy. Like, God's been doing a lot this year. But I won't dive into all of that because the point of this video is Rwanda. And it is November. We are a week and a half away from Thanksgiving, so it's been a minute. But I want to say thank you. Number one thing, thank you. Thank you for investing in me and trusting me to invest in me to go over there. That's to me, that's a lot of money, right? And trust to put in somebody, be like, okay, go on this trip. So thank you for that trust. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm so grateful. I really am. I wish I had the physical ability to really just express how grateful and thankful I am, and how exciting that was to be able to do that. It was life-changing. I tend to not be an emotional person, but and even I think afterwards when people ask me, I'm like, oh yeah, it was good, mostly because I don't tend to wear my emotions on my sleeve a lot. But it is life-changing, and such a miraculous moment in my life. When you obey God and do what He's asked you to do, it's amazing what miracles or things shift in your life, or relationships and connections you make, that just fall into place that you never even knew about or never considered. So I was able to reconnect with relatives that were really excited about that, and missions is really close to their heart, and it's just amazing. Anyways, on with that, because you want to know what you invested in, what happened. So I meet with these other ladies, these other teachers, and I get on this plane. It's like, wow, there's no turning back. I'm literally following Jesus, and there's no turning back. I'm on an airplane flying over the ocean. It's done deal, which is pretty amazing. And just the excitement of getting off the airplane and standing, call it the tarmac, just walking down the stairs to the plane, landing on the ground, standing there, showing them my passport. You're like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. I'm in Africa. Wow. That was just, it's really, really neat to think, wow. So beyond that, right? So thank you for changing my life, and allowing God to do a work in my life, because it's something I've dreamt of since I was a little girl. But also, so we get there, and we're just so blessed by Dr. Cindi and her people. They made a point to make it like a Holy Spirit boot camp, and like a spiritual retreat almost. They made sure we ate well and had good food. They made sure we were in a place where we got good sleep, so that we could be refreshed and ready to go to teach their teachers. So we weren't roughing it as much as I thought we would be. I was all prepared for that, guys. And thankfully the jet lag was not really that big of a deal. But anyways, we go and we spend time, we wake up in the morning and we do morning devotions together. We take turns doing a morning devotion and praying together. We took daily communion together, and Dr. Cindi would teach us, and she would also teach us a lesson each day that was really beneficial about hearing from God and being close to God. Okay, and then we got to meet all the teachers and the principals and administration and Pastor Eric and all the neat people that help Cindi so just run and thrive. That's so amazing. Such great, caring, genuine people. And they were so hospitable, and so helpful. There was some technology, but not a lot, right? Because you're in Africa, a lot of people don't have running water or electricity. There's one main road or highway that we took, but a lot of the roads are not kept up very well. So it would vibrate like the cars, if you can imagine, not very good shocks, or they'd wear them out. And so you'd have shorts that would happen in cars, and you just see cars on fire on the side of the road. You'd have several lanes of traffic. You'd have people walking and on bicycles and bananas and fruit and all that, hauling their goods to market. And then you'd have cars and motorcycles, and that was wild. But anyways, we drive to the reconciliation villages, is where God showed Cindi to plant her schools amongst people who had already decided they wanted a better life. They wanted a life of forgiveness. They wanted a life of reconciliation with people they already knew hated them, that at one point wanted them dead. War. If you do not know about the genocide involving Rwanda, it's definitely worth reading about and researching. And I can even recommend some books. But these people who had been at war with each other decided to reconcile and plant villages and communities together. And then Dr. Cindi then came in and planted a school and a place to worship. It's just amazing, right? You'd have to see it for yourself. It's amazing. So anyways, we teach their teachers. We had a week where I taught a combination. I told them I'd be willing to fill in the gaps because of my diverse training. So I helped talk about math manipulatives and how to use those. Guys, these teachers, these young teachers, like, they're young. Their teaching program was not very rigorous. The pastor mentioned that they just kind of, churn them out, kind of, so to speak. And so they don't know a lot. They did not know you could teach using games. They did not know you could have fun and learn. They just did old-fashioned, I'm going to write this on the board. You copy it on your paper. Okay, you should be good for the state test. Okay, so I taught them how to use manipulatives to teach the littles math. I also talked to middle school teachers about how, yes, you can turn anything into a challenge or a game. You can have fun, make it fun. We talked about how, yes, you do have to follow the curriculum and scope and sequence, but you can add on to it to enhance the lesson to meet the needs of those students, right? We also, I kind of want to go back, guys. We need a program for them to get some kind of Dr. Cindi certification or something. But I also touched on writing and evaluating student writing skills and what student writing should be able to tell a teacher as far as what their weaknesses are and then what practice they need. And then we also challenged them based off of each day they attended a class with me. They had to write a lesson plan implementing that new strategy. Was the goal there. I think that part went a little rougher due to the language barrier somewhat, because not all of them spoke fluent English. And then add my American accent on top of that. They're used to learning English from Rwanda, so they have a different accent and inflection and things like that. That kind of was a little bit of a barrier. But I mean, to help with that, we had slideshows, we had PowerPoints. I could show them what I was talking about and give them good examples, and talk about things that I learned recently from literacy programs here in the States. So that all went really well. The teachers were so nice. They were great learners. They wanted to learn. They want to improve learning for their students. They were just such amazing people to chat with. And then the American teachers would have lunch with Dr. Cindi and debrief and figure out what those teachers needed. And then in the afternoons before supper, we would go out and pray over the village. We would walk and just pray and ask God, like, God, where do you want us to go? Whose house are we stopping at today? Who are we feeding today? Because you only have so much supplies, right? So we would go and we'd walk, we'd pray, be like, God lead us, which was super intimidating. I'm like, you want us to do what? So we would pray and just, you would know, like God would be like that house. Or you just feel drawn towards a specific house. And there were a couple times where I'm like, yeah, or the director or somebody like, nah, that house has probably already been gotten. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm feeling pretty strongly we're supposed to go there. So we'd go there and it turned out, yeah, we needed to go there. Anyways, we would gift people rice. That was a big deal. Shoes. They had sandals that you could buy, of all sorts of sizes. So we get big bags of sandals to give to people. I think we also gifted beans. And Bibles. Bibles were a big deal. So we had English ones, Rwandan ones. Rwanda is the language there. But the tricky part is we had to find people who could read in either language. So if we felt led to and the people could read, we would gift their household or community a small Bible. We couldn't go crazy with that because, again, they couldn't read, and sometimes they'd resell them for money, and then go drink. So drinking is a problem in the area. Clothes, we were able to give away clothes, socks, underwear, t-shirts. So we did gift clothes. We'd go to communities of children. It was amazing. The children would just like gather, and the pastor would, they team played it. So you had a translator, and the pastor would give the message of salvation or tell a Bible story. And through the children, just this influx of children, their parents, their aunts and uncles, grandparents would come out too. It's like they'd bring a bench and we could sit on, and they're very community oriented, and hospitable. They would be hospitable and invite guests to speak with them. And the pastor would give a Bible lesson to the children. And the adults would hear as a default and pray that prayer of salvation for many of them. And there were times where we also were encouraged to pray with people or pray over people for healing, both internally and so spiritually, as well as physically. You could see people had cataracts or eye issues or skin issues, open wounds that were infected. They don't have a lot of medicine. It's not easy. Their water's contaminated. So as far as what your support did, you helped send me and a team of people to Africa to go over there and experience Dr. Cindi, which was impactful for us personally, but also we were able to teach and educate their teachers to do better for their students, to empower them for better education. We were also able to go out and pray and minister to the community, to pray over them, to give them materials that they needed for a better life, or even it, honestly, sometimes it felt like too little. But there's only so much. Sometimes it felt like too little. And the pastor was really encouraging with that. He's like, you do what you can. You pray with what you've got, you give what you've got, and then you let God worry about the rest. Because they said you can't let the overwhelming amount of need weigh you down and let the devil tell you, yeah, you didn't even, the drop in the bucket, you didn't even do anything. So we did impact people, and you could tell there was healing that occurred people emotionally. Like when you know that God sees you, it just does something inside of you that it's so powerful and healing. And then that impacts people around them, and that impacts people around them, and just trusting God to move through one person, that ripple effect. So I'm really believing that was a big deal. What else? Oh my gosh, guys. They took us to all the different campuses. And so we got to pray over most, not every. I think we prayed over most campuses. And we even got really close to Kenya, to one of them. That was a long drive on a bumpy bus. But it was beautiful. Like the teachers would sing praise and worship songs in their own language and in English. That was the most beautiful thing, to listen to them just sing hymns that we sing here in the States. It was really impactful. It made me cry. It was so much. And we definitely heard God. We journaled. But we did prayer walks and did praise and worship. We'd have a team worshiping, and we'd have a team marching and walking around the campus and praying over the future students and the teachers and the staff and everybody. That was amazing. And then I feel like surely there's things I'm missing. But then we wrapped up a trip. Very, 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 very last day, we went in to their national park on a short safari to just see the animals and kind of see more of Africa. And then went home, hopped on a plane, came home. I think which was the hardest part was getting back and being like, oh no, now I gotta be we're tired and we gotta be on that really, really long plane again. But it was good. It was nice. It was beautiful. The people are beautiful. Just, it's an amazing place. And I think for me personally, it just really solidified what I feel like I'm supposed to do with my life. To pour into the community around me and where I've been planted at, and the towns around me. It solidified I want to continue my education so that I can help improve education and improve schools and figure out what's needed for teachers and students and communities to thrive. Like, I want to mesh that community and education together somehow, and culture. But it's been like a plumb line for my life too, on how I want and feel led to minister to the people around me right now, and abroad. I still want to keep working with Cindy's Hope. I don't know when I'm going to go back next, because I haven't felt that tug. I've actually felt more of like, okay, let's get in alignment with my education and in the community around me. So, wow, guys, that's a really long video. Hopefully I can just speak in person. But I love you guys. Thank you so much, because it was impactful. I loved it. I hope to work with Dr. Cindi moving forward, on a regular basis, and figure out what they need to thrive. But really, they do need your support. Check out Dr. Cindy's Hope. And I can give you links. If you reach out to me, I can help you with all of that. But they do need support, even if it's like a little bit. Per month, a little bit goes a long ways. You know, $10 can feed a kid for a while, or support their education. They need uniforms. They need a lot of stuff, right? We are a lot of their support as far as that goes. So if there's other ways you want to support or contribute to other missionaries going, I'd be glad to let you know. All right. Love you guys. Have a good day. All right. Bye.